We are now shading in our cupcake that's inspired by Wayne Thiebaud with oil pastels. And we want to make it look like there's light shining on our cupcake and that there are highlights and shadows. So you'll want to start with your light source and place it on the side of your cupcake because our light is hitting our cupcake on this side. Now remember, light white, so you need your white oil pastel. And you will begin to shade in where that highlight is with your white because the light is shining on it. So we want to curve all of our lines around just like the shape of our cupcake because the bottom of our cupcake is a cylinder and that is rounded. So our lines that are closest to our light source, we're going to be pushing really, really hard with our white. Okay. There's a lot of highlight here because this is where most of the light hits the cupcake, is where it's closest to it. So where it's closest to the light, we fill in quite a bit with our white. But then as we start getting closer to the middle, we will not push as hard. Okay, notice how my lines, you can still see the paper underneath now on this part. I'm slowly getting my lines a little bit further apart. This is so that we can get a smooth transition from light, where our light source is, to dark, where our shadow is. Okay, you don't want to go over too many of the lines with your oil pastels because then you might not be able to see what you drew, so just be careful with that. And you'll want to cover this entire side with white, so as you go up here, notice how I didn't draw over all my lines. I'm still pushing hard because this part on this side is closest to the light source, so it has the most white for my highlight. And then as I get closer to the middle, I'm not pushing as hard, I have less white. Okay, again over here I'm pushing really hard. And as I get closer to the middle, letting some of the paper come through. I'm shading in across my cupcake, not vertically. We don't want to go up and down or diagonal, go across. We do the same thing up here. Again, pushing pretty hard as you get to the middle. You still push hard, you just don't fill in the whole cupcake. You leave some of the paper there. Okay, once you have your light white side filled in, then you will take your black oil pastel, okay? First, remember we have our light here, where our cupcake is closest to the light, we have the most white, and it slowly gets to be less white. Now we're going to make our shadow on the opposite side where that light cannot reach with our black oil pastel. So black is a much stronger color. You will not need to push as hard. I like to go and make a little outline, so that's the one time you can make a vertical line. Little outline with my black, but then again we're curving it in same direction as our white, just lightly making some curved lines in to make that shadow. Okay, you would go all the way up the side. Notice I'm not pushing as hard as I did as when I was going in with my white. I'm pushing a lot lighter with the black. It's a much stronger color. Curving these lines. Fewer lines as I get towards the middle, don't need a whole lot, but we do want it to be a smooth transition, so we want a few lines coming towards the middle. Again, curving up here, make that little outline just to show that darkest shadow. I'm not pushing hard at all. Okay, so we have our light white side and our shadow black side, not pushing hard with that black. Once you are done with that, you go and you choose your colors that you want your cupcake to be. I'm going to have the base of my cupcake liner, be red. And you want to start in the middle once you choose these colors, and you could also change colors on any part of this. As long as you start with your white and your black, you can change colors throughout the whole thing, okay? So again, I'm not going over the lines that I drew in because I want to be able to see them. You could go red, white, or switch colors. I'm just going to use red for the base of my cupcake. And you push pretty hard with this. If you want a really vibrant color, you push hard to fill in the space. And then, after you get the middle part done, you go towards your white side, the light side. Because if you go to the black side first and then to white, you're going to have black on your oil pastel, and we don't want those to blend together. Okay, notice I'm still going across the same direction as I did when I was doing my white. Pushing pretty hard right now just to blend that white and that red together. It's just a little bit lighter than what it was over here. Now as I get closer to the light, I am not going to push as hard with my red. That is because red is a stronger color than white. And we want to be able to see the white coming through with our red. Okay, so I'm not pushing quite as hard, but I am covering over the white and blending these two colors together. And then as I get to this last part, I'm barely pushing, I'm not filling the whole thing, I'm just doing some small lines to show that big highlight over here. We want lots of light and a highlight closest to our light source. Okay, so it's slowly changing from this normal red color in the middle. It's getting a little bit lighter, lighter, and even lighter just by not pushing as hard going this way. Now we're going to blend in with our black. After we're done with that side, we'll go to our black, pushing hard again. Now this time, because black is a stronger color than red, the whole time I will continue to push hard to blend these together. Okay. Pushing pretty hard, again, pushing hard in this last space with the black. Don't really need to push any lighter. If I cover over my black, you will still see it coming through with the red because black is such a strong color. Just want to cover that whole thing with red. Now there, I have my shadow. Okay. Then you can go and switch colors. I'll just do one more color for you. You could do a different color for each layer if you wanted to. I'll go ahead and do this top part. So remember, start in the middle with whatever color you choose, pushing pretty hard to get that bright color. Going across with the curve of my frosting here. Once I have the middle done, notice I'm not going over the outlines. Once I have the middle done, pushing hard, I'm going to start to blend it in with my white. And as I get closer to the light side, I'm not going to push as hard. I'm going to push lightly and let my pink and my white blend together. Not pushing very hard because we want that highlight to come through there. Once I'm done blending those two together, I will go to my dark side. Remember, I push harder on this side. At this point, if you use too much black, it's going to be pretty hard to blend in pink with black, so make sure you don't push too hard or use too much black. So with the pink, you push very hard to mix it and blend it in with the black. The whole point is to get a smooth transition from light to medium pink and then to dark pink where our shadow is. We don't want to see just a straight line where that black ends and the pink starts, or where the white ends and the pink starts. You want it to be a smooth transition to make it look realistic. Okay, so then you would go and you can change colors as many times as you want, as long as you start with the white on the light side and then go to your black shading on the shadow side.